Welcome everybody. I wanted to make a video today about how silence can be more powerful than threats. And I was going to make this video anyway, and then I saw Paul Sorvino died yesterday, and I thought, well, no better time than now to make this video, and I'm going to include 3 different clips in this video here that give illustrations. 2 of them are from fiction, one of them is from an actual real-life scenario, but stay tuned to the end to see which one I'm going to include, because you probably wouldn't expect it to be this. But it's actually a pretty powerful moment. And these are going to be good examples of how you respond instead of react. I think so much of emotional maturity is learning how to respond instead of react. And in all of these examples, especially the first 2, they don't let their emotional control get away from them. They maintain emotional self-control, and they have strong frame, and they keep their power, right? They don't flap at the gums. They don't get loud. It's like they say sometimes the loudest person in the room can be the weakest person in the room. They don't allow this to happen. And these illustrations I'm about to show you, they're going to be some of the best examples you can see. So without further delay, let's get this going here. All right, so here's going to be the first one. There he is. Rest in peace, Paulie. Let's go.
For wise guys.
But I'm worried. I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of fucking bad things. I mean, he's treating me like I'm a fucking half a fag or something. I'm gonna wind up a lamist. I gotta go on a fucking lamb in order to get away from this guy. This ain't right, Paulie. I mean, I can't go here, I can't go there.
You think you're the only one? I talked to them 1,000,000 times. They don't listen.
If you tell him, he'll stop. I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna wind up being declared an MIA? They're gonna find me in the back of a car somewhere in the weeds? Come on. You know this fucking Tommy all your life. Who knows better than you? This cocksucker's an arch criminal. I mean, when I leave my house in the morning, before I get to the car, I'm looking over both shoulders. This is no way to live.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen Goodfellas, Tommy, he's not made at this point. And spoiler alert, he never gets made. But he does actually harass this restaurant owner. So this meeting gets arranged. And we'll see how it unfolds.
You know I'm no fence jump. I'm around you all my life. You tell me what I gotta do. Whatever the fuck I gotta do, I'm gonna do, no?
What could I do? If there's something I could do, don't you think I would do it? You know me. I would like to help you out.
Sonny, tell him what we talked about.
You think it's all right?
Yeah, come on.
What?
Well, you know, look, maybe you could come in with me. You know, take a piece of this fucking joint. It'd be good.
What are you talking about? What do you mean, the restaurant?
Yeah, I mean, it's a classy place. I mean, look at the layout. When you've been in there 1,000,000 times, you know what it looks like. I mean, Tommy taking over this fucking joint is like putting a silk hat on a pig. I mean, I don't mean no disrespect on Henry, but that's the way it is. I know you're his friend. I'm begging you. What can I say?
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What do you want from me? I don't know what. I don't know nothing about the restaurant business. Nothing. All I know is to sit down and order a meal. I don't know how to make a restaurant.
No, not for you. It's just a place to hang. You know, I mean, the chef is great. The fucking shows are good. There's a lot of who's coming in here all the time.
I like to help you out. Look, what do you want from me? What am I going to do? Tommy's a bad kid. He's a bad seed. What am I supposed to do? Shoot him?
It wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm sorry I said that. I didn't mean to say that. I just mean that he's scaring me. You know, I need help. Help me, please. You know.
You know anything about the...
So there we have it. That was a classic example of Paul Sorvino. He doesn't say anything when he says, oh yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to shoot Tommy. And then boom, blank stare. No, what are you talking about? It would be good to kill Tommy. What are you talking about? No. All it takes is a look. And then the guy backpedals and stutters over his words. That silence was more powerful than a threat could ever be. So I think that was a great example. Rest in peace, Paul Sorvino. But there's still 2 more examples I want to go over. This one's really good for 2 different reasons. And as the thumbnail betrayed, Tywin Lannister is going to be in this one. All right, there we go. This is Joffrey and his granddad, and Cersei and Tyrion here. And we're going to get into this. 2 good lessons from this clip we're going to learn.
She is no longer yours to torment.
Everyone is mine to torment. You do well to remember that, you little monster.
Oh, a monster. Perhaps you should speak to me more softly then. Monsters are dangerous, and just now kings are dying like flies.
I could have your tongue out for saying that.
Threat.
Let him make his threats. He's a bitter little man.
Lord Tyrion should apologize immediately. Unacceptable, disrespectful, and in very bad taste.
I am the king! I will punish you.
Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king.
Boom. So let's stop it there. I love that piece because it reminds me of a lot of people that say things like, I'm an alpha male. I'm a strong, independent woman. I am fill in the blank. And they're boasting it. And to me, it reeks of weakness when someone has to scream something from the rooftops. I am so independent. I'm so confident. I am the king. And what Tywin says here is dead on. Anyone who truly is something, they don't have to prove it. Right? They don't feel the need to prove it to others. Because half the time when people do this, they're also trying to prove it to themselves. The same thing happens when people try to say, I'm so happy and single. It's like, well, if you really were happy and single, maybe you wouldn't feel the need to try to tell everybody. Maybe you would just be. You would just be and be an example. But I love that part because we see it everywhere. See it in the manosphere a lot. I'm an alpha male. I'm an I value male. It's like, dude, shut up.
I'll make sure you understand that when I've won your war for you.
My father won the real war. He killed Prince Rhaegar. He took the crown while you hid under Casterly Rock.
The king is tired. See him to his chambers.
Come along.
Tired.
We have so much to celebrate. A wedding to plan. You must rest.
Grand Maester, perhaps some essence of nightshade to help him sleep.
I'm not tired.
Come.
So that's classic there too. So Tywin, he doesn't feel the need to scream, get all high-pitched, and flap his arms with wild mannerisms. Just calm and collected. A good 5-second silence there. And everyone recognizes the power of that silence. And Cersei, Joffrey's mother, she gets very concerned, and rightfully so. And all it takes is a look from Tywin. And you notice how Joffrey, screaming, threatening, I am the king, I'm not tired. And Tywin just looks at him, never loses frame. And I mentioned Tywin Lannister, even though he's a fictional character. I mention him a lot in my book because he's a great example of strong frame. Now, regardless of the fact that he's very powerful and rich in the show, it doesn't negate his emotional impact on the show. After his character, spoiler, is killed off, the show is never the same, in my opinion. He brought a powerful energy to the show. Strong frame. Lots of masculinity. And then when he was gone, the show took a nosedive from there. But that was a masterclass in a couple different things, like I said. Any man who truly is a king doesn't have to say it. And that's silence. Strong frame is very powerful. Now lastly, this next one coming up here, you wouldn't expect me to include this one, but it is a real-life example, and it is pretty fascinating, and the tone's going to be much different than the first two here. But here we go. We're going to add this next one here. There we are. Hello there, Fred Rogers. Now this is his acceptance speech. And I don't know how long ago this was, but this is pretty powerful stuff. And we're going to scroll down late when it's over. I'm going to show you some of the comments. But let's play the video here. This is powerful stuff too.
Oh, it's a beautiful night in this neighborhood. So many people have helped me to come to this night. Some of you are here, some are far away, some are even in heaven. All of us have special ones who have loved us into being. Would you just take, along with me, 10 seconds to think of the people who have helped you become who you are? Those who have cared about you and wanted what was best for you in life. 10 seconds of silence. I'll watch the time. Whomever you've been thinking about, how pleased they must be to know the difference you feel they've made. You know, they're the kind of people television does well to offer our world. Special thanks to my family and friends and to my co-workers in public broadcasting, family communications, and this academy for encouraging me, allowing me all these years to be your neighbor. May God be with you. Thank you very much.
Even all these years later, I always found that clip to be powerful. I first learned about it in a college course I took probably over a decade ago. There was an Esquire article about this speech, and it was actually the basis for the movie they made about this. But notice what Mr. Rogers did there. Childhood, you know, he always reminds people of people's childhood, and what they saw there was he asked for silence and he expected to be listened to. And at first they might have snickered a little bit, but then they soon realized Mr. Rogers actually has frame here and he's serious. And so they listened. And then the power of the moment came. And I'm going to read this little part of the article from Esquire here that's in the comments section. And it's pretty powerful because this person writes pretty well. So as soon as I find it, I'm going to read it to you all. Here it is. So here we go. Yes, at 70 years old and 143 pounds, Mr. Rogers still fights. And indeed, early this year when television handed him its highest honor, he responded by telling television, gently of course, to just shut up for once. And television listened. He had already won his third daytime Emmy, and now he went on stage to accept Emmy's Lifetime Achievement Award. And there, in front of all the soap opera stars and talk show, what's that word? Sing-seratons, in front of all the jutting man-tan jaws and jutting saltwater bosoms, he made his small bow and said into the microphone, "All of us have special ones who have loved us into being. Would you just take, along with me, 10 seconds to think of the people who have helped you become who you are." 10 seconds of silence. And then he lifts his wrist and looked at the audience and looked at his watch and said softly, "I'll watch the time." And there was at first a small whoop from the crowd, a giddy strangled hiccup of laughter, as people realized that he wasn't kidding, that Mr. Rogers was not some convenient eunuch, but rather a man, an authority figure who actually expected them to do what he asked. So they did. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, And now the jaws clenched, and the bosoms heaved, and the mascara ran, and the tears fell upon the beglittered gathering like rain leaking down a crystal chandelier. And Mr. Rogers finally looked up from his watch and said, "May God be with you," to all his vanquished children. So, that last moment there, it's Mr. Rogers. But that was actually a real-life moment. Like, that was reality. I don't think it was scripted in any way. That was Mr. Rogers, who was congruent with himself. And he was able to communicate just with his silence. I expect to be listened to. He didn't say, hey, like a teacher in a classroom, "Hey, everyone be quiet, stop it, stop it." They respect him. And so when he's silent, and he doesn't show any signs of being pushed off of his emotional center, it absolutely works. And then he counts the time. And then the gravity of the moment hits everyone, and they actually think about someone that helped them be where they are. Mr. Rogers was a good frickin' dude. And the fact that he was able to have that kind of strong frame in that scenario, that was really impressive to me. As the article stated in that YouTube comment, he's not some convenient eunuch, as some people would like him to be, that someone they don't have to respect just because he was on the children's program for so long. No. He is still a man, and he deserves respect. And he treats himself with radical self-respect. And he wouldn't tolerate much less. And so he handled that moment pretty good, even after the initial laughter. His silence and frame overcame the situation. But those are my 3 examples there of how silence can be super powerful. And the first one there, of course, is in honor of Paul Sorvino. Rest in peace to Paul. His daughter is Mia Sorvino. But that was a good role he played in Goodfellas, one of my favorite mob movies. And Tywin Lannister, in the second clip, he's probably my favorite Game of Thrones character, and the show certainly nosedived after he was gone and killed off. And then Mr. Rogers, the person that you wouldn't expect to have a strong frame. You might mistakenly believe he's a pushover, but that clip proved he was not. He expects to be listened to, and he expected his authority to be understood. And the crowd followed suit, and that was a pretty good comment that was in the comments section there. So, thanks very much for everyone for watching. Got any questions or comments about those clips, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments section. And thank you very much for watching.